Welcome back, Canonites, for another look at Halo Infinite's gameplay. Today we're looking at the second level, known as Foundations, and this is the level where you go after the weapon, if you can't tell by this opening cutscene. So, yeah, we're going to retrieve the weapon. We're finally diving into Zeta Halo. This level, much like Warship Gabrakan before it, is a very controlled sort of setting, compared to the rest of the game at least. Or at least to the open exploration once you get to the surface of Zeta Halo. But this really is when the game starts to open up. You really start to get a sense of the scale. You could kind of see as I was looking out there. Even just in the background now, like, these phantoms do not just disappear after, you know, a few hundred meters or something. You will see them flying out in far distances at times. It's amazing just how massive the scale of this game is. Yeah. One thing I do definitely need to talk about, though, is that... Oh, God, yeah. That freaked me out. I thought it was going to be an electric trap the first time. Anyway. Oh, yeah, and you can even see here, I kind of went the wrong way. I probably could have gotten down there without issue. That was an awkward entrance if I ever saw one. No, you don't say. Anyway, one thing I do want to talk about with this game is the sandbox. Now, I initially was very much on board for the much more, much more refined, much more cut down sandbox. Because it felt like, and it still does, it feels like every weapon has a purpose. But it's very, especially in campaign, I didn't notice this as much in multiplayer, but in campaign, it's very apparent very quickly just how few weapons you have at your disposal. You can talk about how bloated the games got later on, especially by Halo 5, but there was a weapon variety to it. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a second. I didn't want to talk over the entrance of the Sentinels, or I have to talk over everything, but I didn't want to ignore the appearance of the Sentinels there. That is their first appearance in the game. They're just flying through the ring, the broken ring. That is a hard light coil. There are basically three types. There's like an electric, plasma, or at least there's the standard yellow one, there's the blue one, and then there's the hard light one. So, yeah, so three. But, and they all do different things. Like the blue ones have like shock and will paralyze. As you saw, the hard light ones will completely disintegrate targets. But this is kind of what you can see. I was talking about how the level starts opening up. You can see there are side paths. It's kind of getting you ready for the larger exploration the game is going to offer very soon. And oh my god, I can't wait to get to that. Because if you got... Well, you guys have probably seen the other videos that are already out by now. But if you haven't, you're going to be blown away. It is amazing just the scale of this game. But... yeah, this section really kind of starts showing you... Oh, and I just died because it is very easy to do that. Always watch your shots. But, yeah, this is where the game starts opening up a bit. Oh, God. Okay, the Disruptor. I got to talk about the Disruptor. I was excited for this weapon when I first saw it, and in the bot matches I was able to try it out in for... the multiplayer, or for one of the second flight, that was it. I was able to test it out with the custom games glitch, and it was fun. But after playing it in campaign, I do not like the weapon. I actually unloaded 2 clips into a Grunt Ultra at one point in the campaign, and it did not die. You have to headshot with this weapon, and I don't know, it feels very underwhelming as a result. Anyway. This section in general might have looked familiar. This is one that we got a very early preview of. I think back when they were first showing off the PC aspects of the game. If you have that old ultra-wide shot from, what was it, like February or something? I don't know. I'm rambling at this point because I have to. Alright, cutting forward a bit. Where are we now? Okay, so at this point we've picked up the weapon. Oh. And I specifically included this clip. You can read the subtitles if you can't hear them right now to demonstrate the, what do you call it? The banter that they have. And it is perfect. it's unique and familiar, if that makes sense. And I don't know if I really can make sense of that. Oh, the Stalker rifle. Anyway. You know, it's very reminiscent of the Chief and Cortana banter, but, you know, with the naivete and slightly different characterization of the weapon, it comes across in a very different way, in a very unique and new way. Now, here's a new mechanic. This is about as complex as puzzle solving gets in this game, to my recollection. But, you know, it's a nice little bit of work. It's not extra busy work. There are some. They actually make you go through some very interesting trials to retrieve some of those. They're called power seeds. So, you know, it's a small puzzle aspect. It's fun though. I wouldn't mind if they expanded on it. I don't know why I scanned right there, but okay. I like this take on Forerunner bridges, I have to say. It's very different. So just a few grunts there. One thing I'll note about the enemies is you obviously have the different ranks and different armor styles, but the game doesn't really communicate, or at least I never felt it communicated all that much. Like if there's any significant difference between the grunts and these different armors. Like they just look like they have different armors for the sake of having a few unique armor types. Which isn't necessarily bad. The Banished are very much less focused on internal rank than the Covenant were. So I'm not necessarily complaining about this. I'm just noting that, I'm just making note of it. I guess I was exploring at that point. Nothing to see over there, as you can see. I lost him. Love it. The Stalker rifle was very fun to use. And yeah, you can see right there, there's a little bit of variety. One brute had a mohawk, the other one did not. There are those ammo crates again. Yeah, they'll just fill up whatever type they have in there. Yeah, very convenient way if you to help refill weapons. Really cool upgrade they did for this game too is, you might have noticed, even plasma weapons and even like the energy sword will pick up ammo off the ground. So like if I have an energy sword at 50% and I go over to another energy sword like on a weapon rack or something, I don't need to pick up that fresh energy sword. I apparently just absorb the plasma energy or something. I don't know. But it's actually a feature I really ended up liking, just because I don't know, it's much more convenient. It's less personal inventory management or having to be you know what it really does? It really lets you choose what weapons you want to play with. Now there aren't these things just lying around. Or I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Like, you know, power weapons have their own unique ammo, separate from the other weapons, and there are weapon crates for that, but they're a lot rarer. So you know, it's not like you can go around with just a ton of ammo, always invincible. Oh, okay. This is our first Spartan encounter in the game. Or Spartan. So this is how you find new abilities. You find these armor cores on the bodies of dead Spartans. Now I've censored her name for this video, even though I just gave away the gender. Well, I guess that comes in. But just so, you know, you can find out who it is in the game itself. But I love this. You just touch the armor and the weapon is able to you know, kind of read the data. It feels like a nice callback to Halo 2 when you know, Chief could just stick his hand on things and Cortana would automatically transfer or do whatever she needed to do. So as you can see though, these Spartans, they went down with a fight. So they weren't pushed over. There's more I'd love to say about that, but I'm trying not to because there's some really cool stuff. All right, at this point, I think we're just about... Yeah, we're pretty much at the end of this level. We're about to get the boss fight with Tremonius, your first boss fight of the game. And he kind of sets your expectations for boss fights, like how they'll work, the unique mechanics each one will have. And the unique weapons, or how each one will have their own unique weapon. Tremonius is actually the only boss that doesn't have his own unique weapon, though he has a Hydra. We'll talk more about him as we get there. One thing I love about this particular part of the level, it feels a lot like Halo 2 Delta Temple. you know, the underwater section. Like, this feels like the room where you had the giant regret hologram and you would fight the two hunters. You had all the jackal snipers around the room. And I mean, that's really the sense I kind of get from playing. There's always jackals around the corner. You can see there's a cool little hallway back there. Oh, the grunts are so much fun in this game. Oh yeah, I love that you can shoot grenades out of enemy hands like that. So if you're really good, if you shoot them right as they are, right as they're about to throw it, you can actually get them to drop their grenade. You can even get them to stick themselves if you do it right. I've gotten really close to that, but I haven't quite managed to do it just yet. More of those hard light grenades. So in addition to the normal fusion coils, you have those big ones, which you can shoot for massive environmental damage. Okay, then. So this is the introduction of Tremonius. He's on his way down. You'll probably recognize this part from the recent campaign overview. What if it's a friendly? Oh yeah, it's not though. There was, I loved Haruspis on Twitter. He made the comparison to Halo CE. Like, you remember when Chief gets to the control room with Guilty Spark, and he's, you know, trying to talk down Cortana. It's like, hey, we got to activate Halo. He's like, hold on, he's a friend. And then you look at this, and now he's like, oh, it's not a friend. It never is. So there you go. There was the introduction of Tremonius. Very cool character. Like I said, he's really just there, though, to set up your expectations for boss fights going forward. There's that new little thing you can do with the jackal shields. Hit him with the grapple shot, and it'll cause them to flinch. You can see there too how the armor, or on Tremonius, you can see how the armor is being knocked off as the game continues. As for his gameplay mechanics here, where he's charging at you, it's a variation on, like, other jump pack brutes will absolutely do this. Though I feel like his has a little more personality that's uniquely him. And I think they probably hit a little harder. But the boss fights in this game are pretty good. We'll talk more about them when we get to high-value targets, or like the bosses that you can seek out in the open world. But for now, we're pretty much at the end of this level, so thus at the end of this video. There you go, more of that fantastic banter. The relationship between the weapon and Chief really is the heart of this game, and it is done so well, but I can't say any more than that for now. I hope you enjoyed the second video. The next one will come out tomorrow, but again, if you want to watch the next video and actually the 2 videos following that, all 5 of them, those are up available now on Patreon, so you can head over there and check it out. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, this has been Halo Canon. Oh, and stick around for those Patreon shoutouts, of course. First, I'd like to give a big thank you to our Haruspis patrons. First, there's Hope. Then we have Freight, Man in the Dark, Keisha Dila, Daddy Anarchy, Great Scott Productions, Jumpy Sucks Balls, and Lone Ronin 117. Thank you all for your amazing support of the channel. Next, I'd like to thank our theoretical patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or get a direct shout out, check out patreon.com/HaloCanon. You can simply support the channel or get additional benefits, such as behind the scenes materials, including raw audio for upcoming videos, or even shout outs like this. All patrons now get early access to certain videos as well, and more benefits are to come. However, your continued viewership is more than enough for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and maybe even subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If you really enjoy this, turn on that notification bell so you can be among the first to see new videos when they release. But for all my fellow Canonites, keep on being awesome.